Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone, and it's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I am here with you on the Southern Silver Service, back on the Miami to West Palm Beach as advertised yesterday. And the other P42 DCM track I mentioned, it turns out there are 4 scenarios for the other version of the train. I know that because this one is listed as the GE P42 DC when you click on that button to get to this menu, it shows you those 7 scenarios under that. So you know that model is used for all 7, whereas the other model is used for these 4. And this is the one that's listed as the Amtrak one in the headers. I don't know why. I don't know why the other one isn't, but it isn't. And this, again, for some reason, is a separate DLC than the other ones. So 2 different versions, and this got a DLC with 4 scenarios of its own. There you go. So we're going to go ahead and continue using the one that came with the route today. And we're going to do the Southern Silver Service heading as far as Fort Lauderdale. We are starting at West Palm Beach where we left off last time on our little tutorial. And no train tours or anything today. We're just going to get straight into the service. Let's get started, shall we? Little airplane there. Welcome to Florida. Well, thank you. This is the Silver Star following the Atlantic East Coast. You have just arrived at West Palm Beach heading south to Miami. Perform passenger stops at the following stations: Delray Beach, Deerfield Beach, and Fort Lauderdale, which is where you will be taking a break. Okay, I managed to read that in time. Allow passengers to disembark here. They're not boarding here? I guess this is just considered one of the end of the line stops. I am paused, right? Yeah, I was paused. So doors should be open now. And the train, as you can see, is already set up. So I guess when the train loads, it's generally going to show up in a reverse or forward position, and with the brake at 17% each time, it looks like. So I guess that's normal. Are the headlights on? The headlights start on. In fact, you can actually turn them on and off on both sides. So I guess you have a tail light setting, you must be able to turn on as well. I don't know. But everything is on. Instrument lights don't really matter because we have digital displays. So we don't have instrument lights, is what I'm getting at here. And I don't know if there's anything else we have to set up, so I'm just going to assume we're good. So 22% throttle to start out. I know it's 20 miles per hour as we leave. We came in at that last time, so pretty much has to be. We have a green signal. Now, just to reiterate, it's not shown on our map here at all, but over here on that side of the, on the other side of the buildings over there's another train track somewhere over there, but it's not on our DLC, so we are not going to see it at all. You don't see it anywhere here. In fact, that's way down the route. You don't see it anywhere here. But there is another track literally right over here somewhere, just in very close range. That track was not replicated on this DLC, and while some might say that's a shame, at the same time I understand that there's development costs trying to do too much for the value of money that you're getting for the route. If anyone wanted to create the additional track, I can actually tell you that I'm going to bring up the track and say it myself. If I can find where West Palm Beach is on this map. We are about to enter a 30-mile-per-hour section, by the way, so I'm getting ready to speed up right now as well. A little too early, it looks like. There we go. So the other track, it doesn't really go through any different locations, and there's not really any stations on it. I think it's more of a freight bypass, because I don't see any stations on it. So I think it's more of a freight route. But the freight route does continue on its own volition. It does go through its own Fort Lauderdale station. So there's 2 Fort Lauderdale stations depending where you are. And I guess it goes through Hollywood as well. I don't know. Hollywood, California. But there is a separate path that it takes. And you can eventually get off on another main line that brings you back south of Miami when you take that separate path. Like the tracks split up right as you enter Miami. So, and then the main line on the other side brings you back in south of Miami where you can rejoin the track. Actually, you go by to Hialeah Yard, which is obviously to the west of Miami for those who know the line. There's a local line that goes off at Palmetto as well. So a bit of a complicated area. I can't really show it all to you because it's not on our map here. Our map just goes to Miami and ends at Miami. There is the balloon track area that we do see, and then the main line, as I showed you on the map last time, continues a little ways to where you have the turn off onto the other line, but the other line is not actually shown. Let me actually make sure my speed. You may have heard my hello airplane. Hi. So I'll bring up the map very quickly to show you what I'm talking about, because it's a little confusing when I'm trying to talk about it. Down here at the very bottom of the line, I'm a lot of furious clicking. This is where the other line clicks off. Let me just make sure my train's doing okay. Yes, it is. Get back up to 45, please. Or don't. Thank you. There is a 60 coming up as well, which we're going to be paying attention to in a second. I just don't want the alerter to wake me up while I'm on the map. What is that? Oh, a motel. Cool. Nice bridge. I think it's a road bridge. I like this. Very, very nice. Alright, back to what I was going to talk about now very quickly. So this is the area where we're going to probably be finishing, and this most of the time. This is the other Miami station, which is a monorail transfer station. I don't think we're going to be using it. There's lots of stuff down here, including some kind of market stop. And then if you continue down, this is where our route terminates at Miami Airport. So Miami Airport will be used in some scenarios, I'm pretty sure. But the local train services usually end right here at the balloon tracks. So it looks like multiple types of services are being replicated on this route, which is nice to see. As for that Miami Airport station, I'm looking on the main, I'm looking on the actual map, and I believe it's referred to on the Open Railway map as the Miami Intermodal Center. Why that name, I have no idea. But it's shown on our map as the Miami Airport, and I assume that's what it's supposed to be. So Miami Airport it is. So if you're not stopping at Miami, you might be going on to the airport. By the way, I should be going up to 60, so I better do that. We are still 15 minutes away from our stop, so having left Fort Lauderdale, we are heading towards Delray Beach, which is our first stop. And as we remember from the briefing, we're going to continue to Deerfield Beach, and then to, actually no, Fort Lauderdale's, sorry, we started at West Palm Beach. Leaving West Palm Beach, we're going to Delray Beach. Then we're going to continue to Deerfield Beach. Then we're going to continue to Fort Lauderdale, which is 40 miles away, almost 40 miles away. Let's make sure we don't speed now, shall we? Thank you. We're here every Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. Please hold your rotten tomatoes. I'm still getting used to this route. Won't even have seen Miami by the time I finish this journey. Now, there are the odd stations along here. I'm not sure if I've actually missed them and I failed to call them out. So let's take a quick peek at the map and see if I missed anything so far. Because if I did, I'm going to catch you up. According to what I see, I have not. The first actual station is, I believe this one right here, which is Lake Worth. So thankfully, I've not missed anything yet. And let's look at the highway over there, shall we? You can see that they modeled the highway signs. So 4 Avenue is West 155 Street, 1 mile at the next exit. And you can actually travel along the interstate. And that sign is facing the wrong way, ladies and gentlemen. This is facing the wrong way because, I mean, I appreciate the effort, but that is the correct side. City 148, downtown 98, services. Okay, that is weird. So you can just follow along the highway right next to the train. And there you go. And I better make sure I'm responding to my alerter just in case it goes off. We have a sign on our train. Nothing but oranges. There we go. And the highway just goes on with our track. And like I said, there's another track over here in this area just not shown on the map. So that's what we have. We're passing another train. Who was that? There he is. Dash 8. Number 7761. Let's get our speed back up a little bit now that we're dropping a little. There is another train that's going to be on this on the journey that we're going to pass as well. I think it's another 7761, but it's going to be a rock service. So the one we just saw is not the rock. The other one is the rock, and that one's going to be starting to move at around 5 o'clock on our map. So we won't see him for a while. It's 4:21 right now. And there's your reminder to get your big burger. Big. So it looks like we have some kind of a service yard here. Let's look at the map and confirm exactly what that is after we pass by. It looks like it's a buffer anyway, so it looks like there's nothing super important on that that we need to worry about for right now. If you want to know, though, that's what it is, the Lake Worth Industry 1 track. And there's more industry tracks here too, I believe, more service tracks. So this is where some of your freight effort can take place. You head down the main line, you pass the track you want to stop on, you back in, and there you go. That's how it works. So industry can be served on these tracks as such. Most of the time you can assume the main line track is going to be set for you, but there may be odd times that a service train is working. You may have a delay. Hopefully if you're in the Silver Star service, that is very rare. This, I believe, is the Lake Worth station that I thought I missed earlier. So this is Lake Worth. You can see another highway area up there. Let's see what that sign is advertising. I think I've seen that sign before. Okay, the directions are correct on this at least. So I can say I'm all on one sign, and that one sign is used throughout the route. Oh, I can go to 80 now. Okay, I almost thought I had to lower my speed. The 79 threw me off at this, but apparently we cannot go 80 miles per hour, because if we were able to go 80 miles per hour, we would have to have additional in-cab systems set up. I saw the whistle board that time, as you might have noticed by me blowing the whistle and putting on the bell. So yeah, what I was saying is we have to have a speed no faster than 79 miles per hour. If we were going exactly 80, we would need those additional in-cab systems. And I think the Northeast Corridor route does include them in the train. So we are able to use them, I believe, on that route. But on this route, we are not equipped for going over 79 miles per hour, because you would need those systems at 80 or above. You think it would be 81 or above, but no, it's 80. So as a result, our speed limit is thus 79 miles per hour, to make sure we don't break that requirement, or that we don't drive in violation of that requirement. So you can't go. So technically, we can go up to 80, because that would be 1 mile over. But as soon as we hit 80, we are immediately over the speed limit. So we have to treat 79 as our speed limit. Mild annoyance. So as a result, I'm going to pull my speed back now, because that is where we have to stop, 79. Was that a yellow? I didn't see if that was a yellow or not. Do I have to slow down? What's going on up ahead? There shouldn't be anything on the track ahead of us. What is going on up here? I'll check that in a moment, but that should be set for us. I thought for a second I saw a yellow. It might have been a green, but I thought for a moment I saw a yellow, so I'm a little concerned. I'm actually going to race ahead of the train for a moment if I can, because I want to cheat and find out what the next signal is before I get to it. I'm not going to increase my speed for now, just in case. Q as well. There we go. As I'm racing ahead, that's not the signal I'm looking for. You are not the signal I'm looking for. What is going on here? I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm not sure. Miami's nice. Thank you, sign. This is a station, by the way. This would be the Boynton Beach station. It's green. I'm green. Why did I think I saw a yellow back there? We can go ahead. Let's go. We have to make up some time now. Because you can see that I'm now behind on my timing. I slowed down enough that I'm now 40 seconds behind. So what I get for thinking I saw a yellow signal. We're going to be limited to 70 up ahead, so it's not as bad as it could have been. The next station after this will be Deerfield Beach, so we are not going to see any more stations until the one we're going to be stopping at. We are still 6 miles away from that. We do have a couple of curves in the railway line, including the faux track that is not actually shown next to us, would actually be pulling away from us. There's the 70 now in effect. Another ad for orange juice. It's good for you, why not? We're going to have another increase to 75 here, which is why I'm trying to not lower my throttle yet, because I want to kind of stay in it, but we're going to have no choice. We have to do it. There's 75, takes full effect when we have fully passed the sign. I can put the throttle back on now because we're down enough, I think. As you can see, when you try to increase speed and the cars behind you are going at the slower speed, when you increase your speed, your train kind of catches on those cars. And if you try to slow down, at the same time, the cars may push you. So it looks like that mechanic is represented in these trains on the P42DC. So not unlike the ones that are fused together and they go tight. These ones are a lot looser, and therefore they can push you around. So something to keep in mind, especially on UK freight service. I think I've seen it as well with the Class 66. Those cars that you get behind you on the 66, they are much looser vehicles than the regular trains that you drive. So you can normally speed up and slow down at will, but sometimes the cars will push you around if they're not fused to your train. So if you try to speed up, sometimes you'll get slowed down by the cars behind you moving as well. So keep that in mind for freight scenarios especially, but it's even affecting us on this passenger run. So who knew? We have a 70 up ahead, so I'm not going to try to worry too much about speeding up to you saw the green light, by the way. I'm not going to worry too much about speeding up to the full 79 because we have to bring it down anyway. So we'll bring it up to about 76 or 77, I think. Then I'm just going to let it coast. Actually, that's good enough. I'm going to let it coast here. I am going to have to give it a brake application anyway, but at least it slows down a little bit as we go. There's a crane working over there, backhoe or whatever you want. I like these little construction scenes that are set up periodically along the highways and along other roads. Long Island Railroad really put a whole bunch of them in. I really like that little extra touch was made to give it a bit of a a little bit more life to the route. That was something I really like to see on Long Island Railroad, and in general, I like to see something like that. Not all over the place, but at least here and there on the various routes. You can see there's a 60 up ahead, so I've gone ahead and returned to a coasting situation. I don't see any reason to try to maintain 70 the whole way, unless I'm running extremely late, which I technically am because I slowed down for a while. So maybe I will need to hold it for a moment. Hey, a taxi ad. Haven't seen that one before. So I think I'm going to try to hold for right now, but I'm going to have to try to slow down with enough of a pace that I don't lose too much beyond the 60 when I get down there. And this train is not, from what I've seen so far, this train does not stop slowing down when you tell it to stop slowing down. It's going to keep going down even after you take the brakes off and apply a throttle. So I seem to have to take that into account when I try to use those brakes. So little brakes are going to go a long way here. Not sure what is my train doing at the -11? That I don't know what that's doing. I really don't. Anyway, we're going to brake now. There's Delray Beach coming up anyway. That's our stop. I removed the throttle, or the brake rather. I moved the brake. And I am going to get enough speed off of that so I can keep going for a moment here. I have to be there in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Gulp. That's a very small station too. We're not going to get a lot of cars in that station, so I'm just going to bring that train to a stop, and that's going to be that. I might not give myself enough time. I have a 79 right now, too. Technically, I could be speeding up, but I'm not because I know I'm going to be coming to a stop up here. And now that's going to cost me some time. I'll see if we can pull this one off, kids. We are going to play bingo with our train stop. Whichever cars stop at the platform, they're going to get off. Everyone else is trapped. It looks like it's going to be the back cars today that get in. There you go. Perfect. Arrival at Delray Beach, track number 1. Leaving Delray Beach. Eventually. There we go. Our next stop is Deerfield Beach. Would like my train to start picking up some speed, please and thank you. Here we go. Trying to watch those amperes. I don't want to overload this train. There's another sign over there. I like all the signs on the routes. I just don't know what they all are. I don't think I've seen... There's another one over here. Go fish. Go fish. And I've seen the car one. And if you rode the train, you'd be home by now. Okay, thanks. It sounds like something you'd see in New York. If you rode the train, you'd be home by now. So while our next stop is going to be Deerfield Beach, our next stop is Deerfield Beach. I guess I didn't see the current station on my map for some reason. I'm not zoomed in at a good angle on my map, so I didn't see it on my map. Now I know. But yeah, there's not a lot of stops between Deerfield Beach and Miami. We're just gonna have Pompano Beach at the end before Miami. Where is? Yeah, who knows where I am on my map now. 79 is our speed limit. We're getting up to that. Getting close to our speed limit, so I'm going to ease back on the throttle. I'm looking at my open railway map, and I actually don't see our previous stop of Delray Beach on it for some reason. I don't know why that is. I'm a little confused by that. Let me actually just locate on the map for you where Delray Beach is, because I want to figure out for myself where it is we are. That's not it. So we were back here. Delray Beach is apparently right here after that big curve. I did see that curve, and I thought that was where it was. So it looks like it's in the area right after that curve. So when I go back to the... let's go back to level 2 throttle. For level 2 throttle, please. Thank you. For a moment. Not for very long. Okay, that'll have to do. So if I'm going to go back to my railway map and just take a look here, because Deerfield Beach is further along after the curve. But, and that's our next stop. That's like 7 miles away right now. But if I go back to where the curve is and I zoom in on the curve, that's where Fort Lauderdale is. What am I missing here? Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Okay, I see what I'm doing wrong, but I'm still trying to find the station we were just at. And so far, I'm not. I wonder if the Delray Beach station has closed. I'm wondering that now. Make sure we don't have an alert, so I push the alerter. Yeah, Delray Beach is not on my map. I don't know why. I am not seeing it. I am mystified by this, ladies and gentlemen. I may have to look that up before the next scenario to see what happened to Delray Beach, because I don't see it. Unless it's on the other track now. Now, I don't know. Oh, I see where it is. Okay, never mind. I just found it. Delray Beach is way up in that area of the track. Okay, I was looking at the wrong part of the map. Delray Beach is here, but there is no label for it on the open railway map. You have to know where it is. Look for the Delray Beach itself on the map, but you don't find a label for the station on the map. You only find the locale, so you have to zoom in on the station yourself when you know where it is. Interesting. That needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed on the open railway map. May have to see who I can contact about that, if there's any way to do that. That is unfortunate that it is not there. Oh well. So as you can see with the level 1 throttle, and there's more airplanes by the way, with the level 1 throttle, we have very, very low speed here being gained here. The alerter tried to come on. So we have to answer that. So we have very, very low speed gain as we're trying to move along. So that's actually a good holding pattern. We just have to make sure we don't speed once in a while, or if we hit a hill, we take it off to try to guard against speeding that way. Because if I remove the throttle right now, you're going to notice that I just drop like a tank. We have a green signal. Like I said earlier, that little clicking noise you hear once in a while is me pushing Q. I'm just pushing the alert to make sure that we don't deal with that, especially if I decide I want to show you something and it would interrupt us. We are now coming up on 2 3/4 of a mile away from Deerfield Beach. We are going to want to start thinking about slowing down soon, especially because our ETA is showing us that we're going to be pushing it. I don't know about you, but I don't like pushing it. Not ideal. 2 minutes to be, less than 2 minutes to be there, and we have close to 2 miles. That is not a good feeling. Well, a mile and a half. We can hit the brakes anytime. Since the train takes a while to slow down, we can hit the brakes early and still stop in the station somewhere. We know this. Not sure why I'm not getting any audio on the alerter. That's a little distracting. I'm going to coast right now. Let's keep the speed up for a moment. I think about 3/10 of a mile out is probably when I'm going to want to stop. So here we go. Looks like another industry track heading off over there. Or something. Oh, he's screwed. Let's get this puppy stopped in time, shall we? Let's see if I can get the engine in the station this time. Ooh, little overshoot, I think, on the engine. Not a big deal. Train's too long for this. Actually, the train does fit. So I just slightly overshot. Not too bad. That's a good estimation, actually. Arrival at Deerfield Beach track number 1. Fort Lauderdale is your next stop, or you'll take a quick break. Roger. Let's get this thing going, please. There's some kind of a shopping center or something in that area, and I saw the doors to that building. I need to try to figure out what that building is, because now it's going to bother me if I don't find out. So I'm trying to get information, but the Open Railway map does not say anything. I know the Publix Deerfield Beach facility is coming up on the left as we continue along, not too far up the track. By the way, we're leaving Deerfield Beach now, and we are about 13 miles from Fort Lauderdale. Arrival time due in, well, no, 13 minutes. 14 minutes. So as long as we get up to 60 quickly, we should be on time. Unfortunately, I'm not sure the building next to me is. Maybe it's not an important building. I know Pompano Beach is going to be coming up. I believe it's the next station on the line. Cypress Creek is also going to be coming up on the line. And then we're going to get to Fort Lauderdale, and that's where we're going to finish our journey. There is, of course, more beyond that, including Hollywood on the other track that we don't see, and eventually the turn into Miami itself. It might be coming up on, or maybe even passing the Public Works building. That might be the Public Works building over there. Green signal. Push the alert just to make sure we don't have to fuss with it too much. You see there's a crossover track there, so if there's a track closed somewhere, those crossover tracks can be utilized for bi-directional running here and there. More signs. If you rode the train, to be home by now. I got news for you. I'm already home. So, there. We should be seeing that rock train somewhere before Fort Lauderdale as well, or maybe it's at Fort Lauderdale, because it actually is not supposed to start moving until after we arrive. So I think we're only going to see it moving if we're late. So I'm guessing it's a service getting ready to leave or something like that when we're in the area. Right now we're angling to be early, which is good news for us. Let's bring our throttle down, because I don't want to speed. I don't want to speed. Thank you. Again, just to remind you, 79 is the limit for any trains that don't have in-cab signaling. If you have in-cab signaling, then there are higher speed limits available. But the Silver Star service, at least in this era, is not equipped with that kind of signaling. So we are limited to 79 miles per hour. I believe there are trains that do go through here at much faster speeds. We're not one of them. I believe this is the first of those stations I mentioned. I can't remember the name of it offhand now. It's not the Cyprus one. Pompano Beach. Pompano Beach, I believe that was that we just went by. There is a speed limit change coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and hold speed for a moment longer, but I'm going to have to eventually coast to make sure we meet the new speed limit. I'm going to actually move this throttle down now for now anyway because I'm getting close to the current speed limit. In fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and coast now on second thought. That seems like a safe idea. Yeah, definitely a good idea because we're going to have to hit the brakes. I like this a nice, mostly flat track through this part of Florida as well. This is more about keeping to time than it is about climbing the gradient in different trains. So there's a lot more keeping to time on this kind of route. So I'm going to take the brakes off for a moment. Actually, let's leave it on a level, on a low level brake. Now we'll take them off. I applied it very briefly just to make sure we didn't stay slightly above the speed limit there. So we're just kind of coasting at 60 right now, which is just fine. I'm actually quite happy with the current train setup. So we're going to kind of just hold it there until we lose a little bit more. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put the throttle back on and see what it does. The situation I'm in right now is a good one. Okay, let's apply that throttle now just to see what happens. It is quite an increase at this level, and then you grab the cars behind you and it slows you down again, but it is still quite an increase. Another backhoe. Don't think he's doing anything though. Didn't seem to be moving. Okay, so we don't have a really good holding situation for this one. We're just going to have to go ahead and keep moving the throttle back and forth. There's a big road. I do expect Cypress Creek to be coming up sometime in the next couple miles here. Another service track over there. You can see the idle stock everywhere. So different service tracks getting their goods here. I should be responding to whistleblowers. I just have not been noticing the whistleblowers. I'm bad at that on these digital routes. If I was driving a real life route, I'd probably do a lot better at it. But because I have a better position to see those things. But in the game environment where you're staring at a computer screen, it's very easy to miss those kinds of things ahead of you. There's one. I saw that one. So we are allowed to hold at 60 miles per hour. Oh, is this the station? That would have been Cypress Creek, I believe. We're going to have another slight bend to the right, I believe, and then we're going to have another sharper bend to the left before we come into Fort Lauderdale. I'll just kind of show you on the map very quickly what that looks like. There's that little bend to the right I was saying, and there's the bigger one to the left, and there's Fort Lauderdale, and then the rest of the route we just don't get to see today. More freight stock. It's everywhere today. Let's keep our speed up, please. Now the good news is our ETA shows us being early this time. That's refreshing. I missed a whistle board while I was showing you the map. There's one though. Another backhoe. That's a major road. Holy cow. That's a double. Looks like a double road, actually. What kind of road is that? Oh, I didn't want the wipers. Let's turn that off. And I'm not sure what that road is that we crossed. Oh, I missed another crossing. Well, there you go. See, the whistle boards are everywhere down here. This is one of those things that I would imagine they would... what did I just get? Oh, I got a counting the miles achievement. I think if you go 42 miles in the train, you get the 42 miles achievement, which makes sense. I just got the 42 miles achievement. So if something goes wrong with the rest of the scenario, you won't know. But I imagine they were trying to do something to make these whistle boards no longer necessary. In other words, try and get more roads to cross the highway, or cross the track. I know there's one, like, and it's not a railroad track, but a regular car highway. It's actually a toll highway. They actually were extending that highway, but it actually ended in its original iteration at a at-grade crossing. So when they decided they were going to extend the highway, they had to make a bridge to go over that. So I imagine they would just be building bridges over the tracks or something to get rid of all these at-grade crossings where accidents are bound to happen here and there. People can get themselves killed. But unfortunately, the infrastructure just isn't there to build all these bridges. And that's something that hopefully and I'm not going to get a political discussion about that, but hopefully that's something that is being sorted out with in the recent couple of years, and with the new stuff that had been passed. Hopefully that all gets sorted out, because I don't think there's going to be any progress in the next couple of years on stuff like that, unfortunately. Unless people can see eye to eye. We just got another advertisement for a burger. Why am I hungry? Stop being hungry. Stop telling me about burgers. Don't want to eat right now. 45 coming up, so I'm going to leave the train at coast until I need to slow down. I've lost a few seconds on my ETA, but I'm still in a position where I'm early, and there's the station right there, actually. So I'm going to have to slow down when I get too close to the station anyway. A minute and a half before we have to be stopped, technically, and we have a mile and a half to go to the station, so that makes sense, doesn't it? The ETA, I do not think is correct on this one, guys. I don't think the ETA is correct. Now look at that. Based on our current speed, we're going to be entering the station slower than we should be to maintain time. So we're going to have to slow down before we actually get to the station. We're going to be pushing being late here. Is that the rock train there? That's the rock train. Power. So let's see how close to time we can pull this. We have a perfect run so far. We may not be able to hold that perfect run. I can probably hit the brakes anytime in the next few hundredths of a mile here. So I'm going to do it right now. Technically, we're already late. So I'm just going to get the train stopped and get the doors open. I don't care where I end up right now. As long as I'm in the station and stopped, that's all I care about. I should still be considered on time, even though I am technically now late. And doors are now... Oh, look at the ETA. I guess I am going to be considered on time. Arrival at Fort Lauderdale, Broward. Let's look at the train. Looking from a camera view on track 2. That is now 2 scenarios with this train. So we're going to be moving next time to something I'm not really looking forward to, the Dash 8, which caused me problems in a scenario on a different route. Hello, sir. Which caused problems in this scenario on a different route because the hills and gradients were just horrible. Hopefully on this train or on this track it won't be so bad because it's pretty much flat track everywhere I've seen so far. So this track looks pretty good. And I don't think I'm going to have too many problems here. I'm actually glad I'm going to be introducing the train on this route instead of the Coal District route because that's a hilly track. Good work. You have arrived at Fort Lauderdale without any problems. You can take a quick break before continuing down to Miami. I guess the passengers just need a break, but Miami is so close. Why wouldn't we just finish the drive? Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time for the next journey, which is going to be in the Dash 8. And it's going to be, I believe, a freight journey. I'll see you for that. But before we do that, let's get to the scoring screen. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to go see our score right now. So there's that counting the miles achievement I mentioned. And even if I didn't get the perfect score, I would have showed you that anyway because I did mention that during the run. So I kind of wanted to show you that anyway. But we did get the 1,000 points, and, you know, that works out nicely. So, not much else to talk about here. Like I said, I'll see you for the next scenario next time, and I'm going to actually get the name of that scenario just to give you the information for it. I still didn't even talk about the history of the route. I kind of need to do that when we're doing the freight service next time. So, reminder myself, tell you about the route. Kind of need to do that. As for the scenario, next time's scenario will be called Rock Through the Night. It is another 45-minute scenario, and this is actually, I already looked at the trains and the services for each of the scenarios, and this is the scenario that has the most trains on it. Most of the scenarios have 3, 4, 5, and the longest, and one of them has 5 trains. Most of them have 3 or 4, but this one has a total of 7 trains, including the player train, which I didn't remove from my list, but 7 trains. So basically, 6 AI trains. The most trains I've seen on any of these scenarios is on that. The one after that has 3 AI scenarios. That's the three AI trains. That's the grand opening scenario. So 2 AI trains, 3 AI trains seems to be the norm. But this one has 6 AI trains on Rock Through the Night. So it's going to be a very, very busy scenario. I expect we're going to have some red signals to deal with, which is why those trains are probably there. But I'm not going to know until I drive the scenario, and you're not going to know either unless you've either played the scenario or seen the scenario, or unless you join me next time. So join me next time for that. I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever time it is for your part of the world. I will see you next time. In that next video, if you're on my playlist and a few days have passed, that next video will start in 3, 2, 1.